there are no jobs in Africa. Ghana, for instance, no jobs.
Looking at our state here, down here, we don't have so much hope for the future.
Here, condition of living is not it's not like Europe, okay? So if you had a chance of going there, you might go there and then have a good living condition.
So we are going because of money. We are going to find work to do because of money to take care of our family.
It comes from a strong passion that no law can actually abolish. It's a human thing. So whatever they would do to have their dreams come true, I believe for them it's a do or die affair.
My name is Anderson Frank. I come from Blickwinkel, Central Region of Ghana. I'm 19 years old. I'm a student. Actually, I have to have enough time for learning, and mostly it doesn't go well to the family. So at times I can work and leave the school. This is a place where I live with my families, and we have been here for so many years. And this is a place where we always settle. Everybody is living here with including my mom, my father, my grandfather, and my grandmom, and those of my sisters and brothers also living around with me. Yeah, this is a shop of my mother, and this is how she make the business and to look after my education and everything. And actually, if I'm from school, I have to come and help my mom to sell. We have onion, pepper, we have meat, minerals, garden eggs, and the rest, bread, everything is here, rice. We also send alcohol and everything around here. I want my family also become an happiness in the whole world, or I want them to become happiness in Ghana. So maybe I'm in my final year in schooling now, but ending of these 2 months I have to escape from here to Libya.
Well, I think migration is just about the movement, and here the focus is on human beings, So the movement of people from one geographical area to another area. If it is within the same country, that is internal migration. If it is across boundaries, national boundaries, that makes it international migration. Yeah. So we have the reasons that push somebody out of the country, and then the reasons that are pulling or attracting somebody in another country. Yeah. When you come to Ghana, the visa fees for I think UK and then US are very expensive to the Ghanaian, to the ordinary Ghanaian. Yes, right. And so some will think that, well, if this thing is too much for me, I mean, I can use some less figure and then I can get there. Let me use it. So basically, I'm saying that because some perceive that the policies are too restrictive especially on the ordinary African. Let me put it that way, on the ordinary African. But then the restrictive policies are giving way for people to use unapproved routes, So in a way, in an attempt to make sure that you control the people who comes into your country, it is having an effect on people using unapproved routes to enter into your country as well, because they see migration as a choice. You cannot stop them. If somebody is moving out of Ghana right now, when they get to the border, they have their documents moving out. you cannot stop them, and then they move out and go.
Here is a beach where the fishermen always come down and bring out a fish. My father is actually a fisherman, and I've been looking through all the boats and he's not back. I mean, he's still working in the sea. At times I can go to sea and fish when my father didn't go. I have to be replaced my father. Normally this is a work that we have been doing to look after the family. You see, so as you can see many people are fighting for money, struggling for money. It's so difficult, and to catch the fish, you need to sit down and to pull the rope with effort, without rest. You see, so after that, you can feel pain from your waist. After school, you don't have any job to do. So, the government didn't, support the citizens to, have a job to do. But in Europe, the government always supports the citizens, to do something The example that I want to set for my family is that I want to live in Europe and work there and get money, and every month I want to send my family.
And I'm money with your question now.
This one is my son. I tried to help him to go, but no money. My brother and my son too. They go there, he die. He don't come, he die. That's why she want go. Pray for him that God may hold him, God may bless him to go and come. Yeah, that's why I pray for her. Because when you born son will work. When he work, he get money, he bring it. Man holy, papa holy, sister holy. That's why I don't play for him. My family will be rich. Hey, I tell you, red, that's my boo.
That's what I got, okay. My first brother who was going to Libya, he did risk his life for our family, and I know maybe you want to set example for the family, and God willing, he did. It's only God who have a protection to me, so I have to come to church always to praise Him. God is omniscient. He's everywhere present. And he's the one who take all over the world. You see? So I believe God more than everything I have. So when I'm going, it's only what I'm going to give to God is praise.
Hallelujah. So
life in the past 7 years wasn't good for me. And my current life, I thank God. Because I tried as an irregular migrant or illegal migrant to Europe. And when I got there, they deported me back home. I completed my senior high school at Ghana's secondary school. That was in year 2000. After completion, I had admission into Tamale Polytechnic to offer my higher national diploma in mechanical engineering. So when I got there, actually, life wasn't easy because I had no father, no mother who could support me to complete the course in a very good manner. Paying of my school fees was a problem. You know, offering a program that you can't even buy your school books, how do you study for your course? So it was a problem. I had a friend called Razak. One day I was in the house, Razak came to me and told me, I think there is an alternative for you, an option for you. And the other option was that he also had a friend who was a driver, loading goods from Ghana to Niger. He said that he will talk to his friend and see if the friend could offer me assistance in a way that when he load his goods, he'll pick me into the car so that when we get to Niger, at least maybe I could do some menial job again to gather money to travel to Libya. Because he believed when I get to Libya, at least I could secure some money or save some money and travel through the high seas to Europe where I will have better education. How did Africa get to know about this route? How did Africans get to know that when you travel through the desert through the high seas, you can get to Italy or Spain or all that? That during the era of the slave trade, that was where the route they used to go with our great grandparents. They travel with them through the desert to the high seas and to the high seas to Europe to sell. So through that they learned about it, and now they are not embarking on that.
Because of the long tradition existing between the European nations, every European nation has had some connection with Africa. The major powers, France, Britain, Belgium, Germany, Holland, all of them, had that kind of thing with Africa. As a result of that, the initial trend was for people from particular colonies or particular areas in Africa to move to the European countries which colonized. Ghana has been at the forefront, not by the will of the people, I should say so, but circumstances, the kind of economy that developed. Ghana was the very first place, at least on this side of the African coast, where Europeans settled. When the Europeans began trading, they traded with Africans as equal partners. So it was a matter of bargain between two trading partners. One partner coming from Europe, the other partner in Africa. But then they operated at the same level. So
the commodities Africans offered, the commodities that they thought they wanted to offer, depending on the bargain, you see. But then gradually, you see, the balance shifted, and then the inequality set in, so that the European trader, the European merchant, came to have more power, in the sense that Africans, tended to produce what Europeans demanded. They came in with new commodities that Africans did not know before, even though Africans had their own industries, that produced some of the items, but they brought in items that were completely new, you see, and when you see a new thing. So gradually, the demand for such European imported goods increased. So eventually we came to have what we describe, normally we have a dependency economy. And this has continued. And that has been a bane of African economy. So that is the situation in which we find ourselves here in Ghana, not only in Ghana, in the whole of Africa. Because we have to produce raw materials, that's what we do. And so as for manufactured goods, all the major capital goods all come from there. We have to import them, all road building, machinery, vehicles, and equipment, in hospital equipment, all those things, education equipment, they are all imported. We are unable to manufacture them here. So we use our raw materials, the earnings from our raw materials, to import those things, so that we do not have the power to determine the prices of our raw commodities. You see, but the Europeans have the power. Europeans and Americans too. They have the power to determine how much they will sell their capital goods to us. So the terms of trade, everything from the beginning is tilted heavily against us. What happened is that because we needed so much of imported capital goods for development after independence, very soon it became evident that our earnings were not adequate, for us to be able to import all that we needed for the kind of development that we wanted. So very quickly, African nations went into debt, so we had to borrow to supplement. So that was the beginning of the problem. So it's happened, and now it has become endemic, you see. Then what we see is that now you would have to beg them. But then the point is that when they are giving you the grant, they attach conditions. One of the conditions is that if the grant is coming from, say, the United Kingdom, then of course there are certain things that you have to import. Everything connected with that development has to be imported from the United Kingdom. You don't have the right to import from Germany. If you think that the same commodities are cheaper in Germany, because the United Kingdom is giving you the grant, you are compared. It's a new form of colonialism. They are not here, they don't have their governments here, they don't have governments, you see, but it's a kind of strings, they are pulling some strings, to keep you where you are. So what some of us think that is that, well, if people are migrating, if they go, it's a way of paying back. You migrate to Britain, you work, you make money, you come back, you establish some business, or you are even to go to build yourself a house. It's a kind of paying yourself back. Yeah. So that's how I see it. After all, it's a way of getting something also from them. They took a lot away. So if we are able to go, even if we have to sweat a lot to do that, and from there we make something and bring home, that is fine. So it's a way of getting around the problem and then getting back some of the things that they carried away.
before I traveled, I never knew much about the desert, about the high seas. I never. Because one reason is the people who travel and comes back home really doesn't sound to us. Those at home that some dangers are involved. You understand that? We don't know much. We used not to know much. We didn't know much about the dangers that was involved on the route until personally I embarked on the route and realized that what was happening on the desert and then the high seas. I only knew I was taking a risk. A risk in the sense that when you are traveling to Europe, you are not traveling through you are not taking the flight, you know, the tiredness and all kinds of things. But one didn't know that one could lose his life through the desert. One could lose his life through the high seas. Because, you know, before they used to sound as if it was just an easy way. When you leave Ghana, within a week you are in Europe. Things like that. Seriously. Within Europe, you are in Europe. A week you are in Europe. That was how they used to sound. Until I embarked on the route to realize that it even takes months and even sometimes years to get to Europe. And even the lucky ones get to Europe. And if you're not lucky, you end up at the high seas or on the desert. From Ghana to Niger, I didn't know where I was going, but when I got to Niger, I was able to learn more about the route. Then I had it on paper. You understand that? So in a group when we were going, I sounded as if I was more or less like the leader of that group because of what I had on paper. You know, they were convinced whatever I tell them. Well, from here we'll go to this place. From here we'll go. So because when we got to I didn't have money, but people had to. This one had to give me this month. This one had to give me this. This one had to give. I was able to pay my transport from Agadez to Durko. From Durko to Tijere, we got to a point we call Rebels Camp. If you have money on you, they will strip you and collect all the money. And for the women, they rape them there. That's the case. Sometimes, some people used to fold their money. You fold your money and then insert it into their anus. Insert it into their anus. You understand that? So at that point too, when you get there, once they realize that you have no money on you, they might assume that you have inserted the money into your anus, and then they would give you something to drink. So when you drink it, you would run diarrhea, and then the money will come out. So from Tijere, I went to Sabah. Sabah, that's the third city in Libya. From Sabah, I took a car to Tripoli. The first one, we were 39 people on the boat. 39 people on the boat. The first one. We had a problem on the high seas. The middle of the boat broke, and then water began dropping into the boat. Then serious water was dropping in. So some people died there. Some people lost their life because they got sunk. And then those of us who were sitting on top of the Zodiac, you know, it's a balloon. The balloon cannot sink. It will only be turning you in no direction again. So those of us who were sitting there, survived because we were rescued by the Libyan people. The second one, I realized that I'd already taken the journey because I was not more in Ghana, I was in Libya. And coming back to Ghana was like a failure. So in the second time we were 37 people, 6 from Nigeria, the rest from Ghana. So fortunately, it was very, very rough turning the boats, and then the boat was deflating again. We came across a certain ship called Kapanamua. They stopped, came a bit closer, asked, we told them we wanted them to rescue us because we were at a point of death. They asked us where we were coming from. Actually, we told them we were from Sudan because we wanted to use the Darfur crisis to seek for political asylum. We were allowed to enter Italy. One guy came in, he was from Ghana, and he was not all that, actually. He told them that we're all from Ghana. All from Ghana. So he caused our deportation. We all felt disappointed. We felt, so confused that we're being deported back to Ghana. So they deported us back to Ghana.
If people have to be deported, you apprehend somebody in an irregular migration. What we know most of the time is that people, they have to leave everything that they have invested in over there, and then they are brought back without anything and all that. That is where people will take on human rights issues. They would say that yes, Europe is not doing well. And I don't want to believe that the developed countries don't need migrants to come and work. Because we have some that, and the population is going down. They need people to make sure that they keep the population at some certain level. We're talking about labor shortages in some part of Europe. They need labor to come in and fill the vacancies over there. You're talking about the developing countries, the unemployment rates. There are no jobs. People feel they have the skills to work, but there are no jobs. So they think that yes, if I move to that particular place, I can fill in a job vacancy in another country. Recently, remittances happens to be the third foreign exchange earner for Ghana after gold and cocoa. So yes, you can see the importance that thing brings to Ghana. The remittances are doing much better than the foreign aid that comes, because this one goes directly to the people down there, to the local community. And it might even interest you to know the kind of developments that Ghanaian migrants abroad are doing in their origin countries. Some are helping in constructing water projects, and all that. Some are even coming down back, just to establish some kind of businesses, investments, and all that. Yeah.
Personally, I realized that we had gathered a whole lot of experiences through the journey, and for that matter, there wasn't the need for us to allow our younger ones or our brothers to also pass through the same journey. I quickly met some of my colleagues who were interested in listening to advice, and I told them I wanted to arrange something like a group. The name was YADO, Youth Action for Development Organization. Then we later went in and did re-registration, which then changes the name from YADO to AFTA. If I had known right from the origin what was pertaining on the high seas and the desert, I don't think I would have made an attempt of even trying to travel, because we have so many opportunities for us even down here in Africa. So if somebody tells you that he's leaving his wife and children here, travel to Europe for years, some will go for more than 10 years, he won't see his wife, more than 10 years, he's not see his children, you should understand that it's due to a very serious factor that pushes the fellow out. My experience counts a lot. When I sit at the radio station, at least I'm able to convince many people to give up their plans of migrating to Europe through the irregular means. We also embark on drama performance. We just give you a story, and the story could be how people plan to travel through the irregular route, finally how they end up. And you wouldn't imagine, seriously, the drama plays a very vital role in our efforts of reducing the trend of irregular migration, because when they perform the drama, at the end of the drama, most people, even the market women, sometimes cry, shed tears. But they picture it, it's like a life story, like a life story, real story. So at the end of the story, they begin to shed tears for those people who find themselves or who have been victimized.
So when I look at the youth and I look at policies and I look at what is happening, then I ask myself, what is the future? Europe has the capability, of rescuing us from the economic doldrums, but they are just refusing to do it. So that if they really sympathize and think about what we provided during colonial rule and even before, let's say colonial rule, they have not done enough at all. So if they actually assessed how much we had contributed to their economies, contributed in terms of our resources, contributed in terms of our human and material resources, I think that the kind of what they are giving back is insignificant. It's not significant at all.
We cannot in a way stop migration. Migration is part and parcel of our life. Africans have lost their lives since decades through this route, through irregular migration, more especially through the desert and then through the high seas. We have lost most of our brothers, most of our sisters through that. People that could one day be leaders of Africa have been perished through the route. People that could assist in developing Africa have perished through the route, all because they wanted to make it to Europe in search of greener pasture. Currently, irregular migration, I'm aware, it's a very big topic of concern in Europe, that many organizations, many European governments are doing all that they can to help tackle the issue. But I'm assuring them that the issue cannot be tackled through patrolling on the high seas. The issue that cannot be tackled through patrolling on the desert, but it can be tackled or solved through direct contact with the people in their respective communities.
I always train early in the morning in 8 o'clock a.m. because of my future. I'm going to pass a way which is not accepted. However, anywhere I go, any work that I'm doing, all my desire is I want to be in Europe. You see? Yeah, I want to be in Europe. But actually, I'm not having any visa. I'm not having anything. How can I be in Europe?